Let's talk illegal immigration. Wow. All those sound effects. All those sound effects mean something. The beginning was just the opening up for the show. A hand clap for all my beloved listeners that listen to my show. The other sound effects was kind of a down part of what I'm going to be talking about in the next few episodes of Body of Christ Real Talk. I hit all type of issues here that I think is relevant here on this show. First of all, I'd like to say welcome everyone that's listening to this show. Welcome to Body of Christ Real Talk, Immigration Talk. Now let's talk about illegal immigration talk. Now I don't talk about this a lot. I chose not to talk about this subject a lot because all I want to see now is some action. And I just want to see these so-called politicians and people, including myself, really do something. But I do give my take on what's going on here in the city of Chicago. Also, if you listen to my show, you know that I am a global watcher. What do I mean by that? I don't just look at Chicago. I see what's going on. I try to talk about and bring certain news that's going on around the world, because this illegal immigration is just not a Chicago or New York or Boston or Denver or Philadelphia issue or a blue state issue. This illegal immigration is a world issue, and it's been internationally going on for years before it really hit the states hard like it's been hitting in the last few years. But it's always been going on and often internationally. Okay, so I want you to understand that this is a global invasion, and it is. I call a duck a duck. It is an invasion. It's a global invasion. It's just not the United States invasion, but the United States has never felt the pump and never felt the surge like it's feeling now. And a lot of these people, and I'm going to say this, a lot of the ones that's doing the complaining now, and rightfully so, are the ones that's also are regretting for voting for this certain party, which is the Democratic platform. And it is a platform, the Democratic platform, that got a lot of people here in America in these blue states and some red states in the situation that they are. Also, I blame the Republicans also because they're part of this invasion as well. You have a Republican Party that's part of it themselves. They want the illegal immigrants here themselves. So I'm not letting the Republicans get away with that. You have two parties, which we don't need neither one of them really. But I'm just saying you have two parties that's part of it. But the Democratic Party is more, they're the biggest issue is the Democratic Party, but the Republican Party is part of it as well, but just not as much as the Democratic Party. And I want to throw that out there. Now let's talk about here in Chicago. I was just listening to this community meeting. I would like to go to one of these meetings one day, not so much to speak. And the reason I wouldn't want to speak, it's not because I don't think my voice can be heard, because a lot of these people that's speaking are well-meaningly, they have a lot to say and they're really speaking their mind, the blacks and the Hispanics and some Asians that's really speaking. Not because I'm afraid, of what to say, because I can talk, I can speak up on what I want to speak up on. It's just that I know this party. And when it comes to politics, when you're sold out, and let me give you an example. When these people talk at these meetings, I eye a lot of facial expressions and body postures and language. I look at that a lot. And when I look at Brandon Johnson, which is the mayor of Chicago, I notice that no matter what you say, he's going to do what he want to do anyway. Not what he so much feel that's right to do. He's going to do what the platform wants him to do anyway. That's what I mean. He overrides his own feelings. I'm not saying he doesn't have any feelings. I believe he does. I believe a lot of these politicians have some feelings, but they are sold out. It's almost like you in a mafia. You can't turn your back. You're sold out. Now, you got evil players that's just playing out evil. Is Brandon Johnson like that? I don't know. But I can just say either or. Whether he's pushing this agenda because he thinks it's the right thing, which I really don't think so. But I think he's sold out in the sense that he's stuck. And I'm not making up excuses for him. But he's sold out in the sense that he cannot turn around. Even though he know this stuff is bad and evil, that what he's doing, and he's turning his back on his own Chicagoans, not just the blacks, but he's turning his back on his own Chicagoan people. He is sold out. This has already been planned, and he's part of the cabal that's going on here in Chicago. So I want to put that out there. Brandon Johnson, I believe, is just overriding his feelings. Because ain't no telling what he talks about at home. Ain't no telling what he talks about in the closet. If I was a fly on the wall, I believe he'd be probably bothered what's going on unless he just part of all this agenda anyway. That I don't know. So this is just a speculation from me and an opinion from me. But when I look at his body posture, and when I look at his face, this is just my opinion. You guys might think different. You might think he's an evil demon. I'm not going to go that far. I just think he's sold out. And when I look at his body posture and his face, it's just look like it's going through one ear out the other. He's like he's trained to hear, but not to hear, because he's going to do what he's going to do anyway. And a lot of that also has to do with arrogance and narcissistic. Being kind of narcissistic and everything. I never met him personally, and I never even talked to personally, but I have learned to just look at people's eyes and their body language. Not so much what they say, but how they move. And I'm not a professional in this, but I have learned that, and I learn this every day, because we all have certain ways we move. We could say things, but our body gives us away, and our eyes sometimes gives us away. Not all the time, but gives us away sometimes. So when I look at the posture of Brandon Johnson, and I just see, no matter what all these community meetings that he is having and that he resides over, that he's already sold out, and they have a plan. He's going to do what he has to do anyway. It's just like you sold your soul to the devil, and you can't turn back around. So he's stuck in a rock and a hard place. You see what I'm saying? See, you look at the J.P. Pritzkers and all of them, they sold out. But you got to understand, these guys also are rich. I'm not saying Brandon so much, but Pritzker and all of them rich. They don't have all this going on around their homes and anything like that. So they could speak about this is the right thing and we need to do this because they're millionaires. You notice the one that's already wealthy and really doing pretty well, most of them, they're not worried about what's going on because it's not happening in their backyard, but it's getting close to their neighborhoods, But my take on this community thing is I'm glad that these people are speaking up. I'm glad the black people are speaking up. Thank you, black folks. I'm glad the Latinos are speaking up. Thank you, Latinos. The Asian and the Caucasians are speaking up because there needs to be a group ethnicity that really speaks up when it comes to city problems. Now, with all that said, I want to speak up on this. What I do have a problem when I'm going to get deep into this. This is what I want to say. And this is what I want to say. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to look at it. Got 6 minutes. I'm going to look at this in a biblical perspective like I try to do on this show. I have to. First of all, here in the city of Chicago, the city that I love and that I live in, I don't love it enough to stay here, but I'll get into that another time because there's like a lot of issues here in Chicago, just like a lot of other cities. Chicago got one of the highest crimes in the nation. Not the highest. There's several cities above Chicago, believe it or not. But a lot of violent crimes, murders and stuff like that, Chicago, I forgot what the rates are, has, and it had a violent crime murder rate before the influctuation of this invasion, and it is an invasion, like I always say, of illegal immigrants. They had crime, they had murders, they had break-ins, they had rapes in the Chicago area. And also, many people would not like this, especially my black brothers and sisters, in ethnicity that, anyway, is on top of the list of committing these crimes and committing these murders. And let's just be real, because I'm going to be real here on Real Talk and the Chicago area. And we have the lowest rate of people. Chicago has many blacks here. And the blacks are, I hope people understand I'm not talking about all blacks. But the black ethnicity group is on top of the line when it comes to murders and gangs and violence and stuff like that, especially among each other. Not some of the outside ethnicities, but among each other. Blacks are on top when it comes to blacks killing blacks more than other ethnicities. I'm not condoning this or nothing like that. I'm not lifting it up, but I want you to listen to me closely. So there is a big crime rate among the blacks in the Chicago areas. Now, you have whites and Latinos doing crimes too, but I'm just speaking on black, my ethnicity group of people, the black people. We are the highest. And crime has been very rampant here in Chicago before the influx of this illegal immigrant invasion. Not asylum seekers, it's illegal immigration. Period. Invasion here in the Chicago, Illinois area. Now, where I'm going with this, I want you to understand, see what's happening now. We already had a high crime rate. We already had a lot going on in our city. We already had problems, especially with the blacks. And I'm a black man, and I'm just being real. In our community of killing each other, raping each other, and different things like that. The gangs. Already, crime was high. Robberies, breaking in stores, even during the pandemic. Blacks destroy their own neighborhoods, okay? So if you're black, this is just real talk. We got to call it what it is, okay? So what's happening now, I'm going to go to the whole crime in Chicago. There's a lot of crime. And then you got the undercover crimes and the Caucasian crimes and Latinos and politics and different things like that. You got a lot of white crime going on. And a lot of white crime, Caucasians are supplying a lot of this stuff as well as Latinos. So I'm not only beating up my own ethnicity group, blacks. I'm just getting that order that's known in picture, that's known on news and stuff like that, and within our own hoods. We know we messing up big time by killing each other and committing a lot of these crimes, more open, known crimes, the black people, okay? Not all. It's just some of the black people. Now, what's going on now? You have different countries, not only Venezuela, but you have Honduras, Africa, China, a lot of them coming to the United States illegally. And most of the ones that's been dumped here, I believe, is Venezuelans. I could be wrong, but I believe it's Venezuelans, maybe some Hondurans, some other ones. You still have Mexicans coming here as well, illegally. That's been dumped here in Chicago. And from what I heard, allegedly, there's a lot of gangs and there's a lot of pedophiles, and you just don't know who's coming. But you got to remember, a lot of that has already been here in Chicago as well. Let's keep it real. So what's going on is you have a crime city that's been dumped on by more crime people from other countries. So that's a double whammy. A city that was already going down with a high crime and crooked politics, predominantly over 60 to 70 years, ran by the Democratic neo-Nazi racist platform, black and white, already here in Chicago was going down. Then you have these illegal immigrants coming right here. So it's like crime dumped on crime. There's a lot of speaking and pushing up against illegal immigrants that was not really pushed that I know of when it came to the crimes in the city, especially the inner cities of Chicago. See, I don't want to pour fire. I don't want to pour gas on fire that's already hot. But I'm going to get into that in the next episode of Body of Christ Real Talk. And I'm going to really get into it and look at it as best as I can in a biblical perspective. Because you are a believer, you are a Christian of the body of Christ. You want to know, what would you think, how God is looking at this? How does he see this? And I'm going to let you know in the next episode of Body of Christ Real Talk.